It's connected. Ladies and gents, boys and girls from around the world, welcome back. It's your boy, the one and only, the real Lil, the Lil Shadamas. And I promise it's going down today on 99 Pod on God. Man, I'm excited. Thursday night, game tonight, game tomorrow. I lied. Not in the NFL, in the NBA. Saturday, Sunday. It's a fun day. It's going down Thanksgiving next week. Man, before we proceed to give you what you need, like and subscribe to the channel to be notified of any uploaded content that we have coming your way. Okay, it's imperative to do so. And let's get right to the show.
We back. It's live.
Yeah, we live, bro. You know, I got to get used to this old format. You know, it's a new thing. We big time right now. I got to play with stuff, okay? Back in college, that's exactly what happened. I remember when I was in college, bro, I was talking for a whole 30 minutes. Guess what? The mic wasn't even on. I was talking to my damn self, okay? That's why I learned to talk and love myself because I got to talk to myself back up in college. But anyway, ladies and gents, what's up? It's going down. And let me pass the mic to the panel. Okay, let's start off with my co-host, the one and only Good Vibes. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, y'all? We finally live. Good vibes is live, and I'm always in paradise. If you heard the show before, if you're hearing the show for the first time, welcome. And I'm always in paradise. We have a lot to talk about today. We have a lot going on this weekend, and we have some breaking news that Lil's gonna break down after we introduce the one and only Ryan Jones. How's it going?
Hey man, I'm well, man. I'm well. A little busy guy. I appreciate you guys to take your time to allow me to come on your show and grace my presence. So, raw mind, raw thoughts. Here we go. And it's raw thoughts. Raw thoughts on Apple and Spotify. All podcast players.
You heard it? Punch it in like the workman. Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Okay, breaking news. Right before we get on the show, right before we got on the show. Okay, the Browns and the Bills moved to Detroit. Okay, with the 3 to 6 feet weather that's gonna be happening in the snow in Buffalo. Listen, I went to school up there and near Buffalo. Okay, I know how it gets down. I know how the weather acts, and it's not friendly. Okay, I was shivering myself off, man. I almost turned into a popsicle, but guess what? I overcame the obstacle, and I'm here right now. So I'm not surprised that the game was moved. I honestly want to see a game in the snow. Okay, but at the end of the day, the snow is gonna be taller than the players. So I mean, hey, they had to move the game. So Buffalo is going to have 2 games within 5 days in Detroit because of Thanksgiving and that game on that day. Another breaking news that we have, and I'm a boxing fan, so I'm amped up about this. Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis announced that they will be fighting in Las Vegas in 23. I'm excited about that, man. Listen, I want to shed a tear, because boxing, they said boxing was a dying sport, but we got a heartbeat. We still there. We still breathing. And I'm hyped because the WBC, I mean, all the news, man. Canelo, he has to fight his mandatory, which will be the winner of Benavidez and Caleb Plant. There's so much things going on. But guess what? We have to get into our planned out show because time is of the essence. And we might as well do so right now with topic number 1 as Taylor Heincke. The Heincke battle will start for the Commanders versus the Texans. Did Ron Rivera make the right call, sticking with Heincke over Carson Wentz? And Ryan Jones, the mic is yours, brother.
Raw thoughts, yeah, I think he did, man. Let's just go ahead and just wrap this season up for Carson Wentz and send him elsewhere. Wherever he wants to go, he can become a journeyman this year. I mean, honestly, when I look at the Washington Commanders, they play a lot better under the command of Taylor Heincke. I don't know what it is. Maybe he has great morale around the team or whatever. But I just feel like, man, honestly, raw thoughts, I just think like there's no need to change it. They actually won a few games since Carson Wentz been out. Ron Rivera, man, I think he needs more time before people start, talking about the hot seat. He was great in the Panthers. He was a great coach. I mean, he had a few bad seasons, but something about him, I don't know what his niche is. But I don't know if it's a player's coach or strategic coach defensively. I see them building some things in Washington that may be good for the future. Not just yet, but I still feel like he should still be the coach. I feel like Taylor Heincke might as well stay, unless you're going to find a good pick in the draft. It ain't too many quarterbacks you could go after. And honestly, even with Jimmy Garoppolo out there, I don't even know. He might be back next year. We can't even say yet. We saying early. We don't know what's going to happen next season. We don't know the situation with Trey Lance. If he goes and wins the Super Bowl, San Francisco might just say, we're just going to bring him back. So you really don't have much to choose from out there, man. I just feel like Taylor Heincke is it. Maybe they can groom Sam Howell, and Sam Howell can come in and take over the offense eventually. But that's it for me. I feel like, man, Ron Rivera made a good decision, and it's good with the team. The team looks like they're happy. They're playing better with him on the quarterback compared to Prince Harry, aka Carson Wentz. My raw thoughts.
Good vibes, man. Talk to a brother.
I think Ron Rivera didn't make the right call. I think, he was a replacement for that moment. And we understand that it was a victory that the Redskins had, but it wasn't because Taylor Heincke was playing good. It was because the Eagles and the refs were horrible that entire day. We had Eagles receivers dropping passes. We had Eagles receivers fumbling the ball when they had a clear end zone. And Watkins, the refs missing a clear face mask call that resulted in a fumble that gave the Redskins the football. The Commanders the football again. I said the Redskins 3 times. Bad omen. The Commanders the football again and again and again. It was not a good look. Taylor Heincke, he's a serviceable quarterback, and that's all he is. He's not a starter in his league. And, Ron Rivera is still on a hot seat. He's a guy who's not a quarterback guru. He's a guy whose quarterbacks, if they don't do it all themselves and make spectacular plays themselves, then Ron Rivera as a coach is not really there. And I'm referring to Cam Newton. Cam Newton was a different beast. He was a guy who really didn't develop much from college. He was just doing whatever he wanted to do on a Ron Rivera football team. That's what players always do on Ron Rivera football teams. They do whatever they want to do. And I just think Ron Rivera made a decision just based upon that victory against the Eagles. And, I understand that Taylor Heincke was the quarterback when y'all won, but that wasn't the reason for the victory. The reason for the victory was the Eagles having mishaps and the refs being blind, not be able to see out of both eyes on multiple possessions, multiple plays. So, I think it was the wrong call. I think you put the best quarterback, in which is Carson Wentz, on that team. Taylor Heincke. Is he a Heineke? Is he Heineken? Is it Hennessy? We don't know. But Ron Rivera is on something, and we just don't know what it is yet.
No, I disagree. I'm going to agree with Ryan here. I think he made the right call. And you know what? We have to call my guy, Heineke, the commander and thief. Not chief, the commander and thief, because he stole somebody's gig. Okay? Now, my guy, Heineke, the thing I like about him is he reminds me, and I know it sounds cheesy, but he reminds me of a YOLO quarterback, right? A YOLO quarterback. You only live once quarterback. Every time he touches the field, it's like he knows this might be the last time he's able to touch a pigskin as a starter. And he plays with that grit. And that's the thing I like about the cat, right? Is that, with Taylor Heincke, you're going to have some gritty performances where he does a play or is involved in a play that galvanizes the locker room on the football field and outside of the football field. And then he's going to probably have a play where his mechanics is, a little bit off because he's trying to be a hero. You only live once, make the throw, right? And I think during that game, Monday Night Football, you saw the good and the bad, right? You saw the play where he tried to throw it to Terry McLaurin and it was intercepted by CJ Gardner-Johnson. That was not a bad decision, but it was a bad throw. If he threw that throw a little bit better, he would have got bailed out. Sometimes it's not about the decision, it's about the throw. You can actually throw a bad pass, but the ball is so good and perfectly placed that the guy makes a catch. But it was a bad thrown ball. It's not you're not drawing your eyes away from the safety. You're staring your receiver down. So it's little intangibles like that. But there were two pivotal plays on the flip side that I thought showed why he is the guy. Number one was the play where it was a drive where they was trying to extend the lead, and it was like second down or something like that, and he was about to get sacked for a loss. I think what happened was the center threw up the he flipped the ball. The ball went over his head. Right, it was a bad snap. Oh snap! He tried to get the ball. What should I do? Let me throw it away and make sure I get it over the line of scrimmage, so that drive is not killed by a penalty that puts us behind the sticks. That right there saved that drive, put up more points on the board. Clear. They needed every point to be on that board going up against a team that's undefeated in the Eagles. And there was one other play that he had where he went to, I guess he went to slide. It was the last drive. He went to slide and he got hit. Okay, and then late. And he looks at the ref and makes sure it's like you gotta throw that flag. If he doesn't look at the ref that way, the referee is not throwing that flag. A lot of people don't realize in sports there's something called peer pressure when it comes to the referees. That happens, right? Right when you have a star or anybody for that matter, and you in the referee face, like throw the flag. Sometimes he's not going to throw the flag unless you ask for it. So the fact that he asked for that won the game because they could have iced the game, right? And they allowed them to ice the game. So I think when you talk about Taylor Heincke, you got to take the good and the bad. And even though those two plays that I referenced, it's not going to show up on the stat sheet. It's going to show up in the win column. And that's why I believe that he's the guy.
And with that being said, real quick, if you don't mind, Aurelia, I'm getting to the point now, like on raw thoughts level, like expectations is different. Like you see Carson Wentz, we expect this. If he doesn't perform, then everything it's just not gonna be good for him. Tyler Heincke, whatever you want to call him, raw thoughts. We know what his expectations are not like so high, but it gets the job done. I'm coming to the point now, raw thoughts, man. It's about execution and what you could do on the field compared to what your name is. Because a lot of names out here, we say their names and we like, oh, wow, yeah, get him. And then these no-name guys just come in and they don't get the same respect or they just don't get picked because their name is not big. And these guys, man, at the end of the day, it's about execution. And I'm telling people now, raw thoughts, unless something just amazing happens, I'm going with who can execute, who get the job done. It is not about big names if I'm a GM at this moment, because it ain't too many to pick from. You're banking on a college player who may be good in college, but you really don't know if they're going to be successful in the NFL. And then you got guys like Tyler Heincke that's here that people are like, oh, we don't want him. We don't want him. We don't want him. I mean, even Cooper Rush, even though I'm not saying that Cooper Rush is amazing, but I'm just saying, and I'm not saying that I'm making him as a great example, but guys that are like, not mentioned or not in those categories of wow and what you want to watch and flick your remote to, those guys are some of the guys that are like steals, man. And it's just to the point, man. Like sometimes you gotta go after them no-name guys, man. And sometimes them no-name guys can be that diamond in the rough. Raw thoughts.
Absolutely. I mean, Tom Brady, hello. He was a no-name guy. Where was he drafted?
Yeah.
Do anybody recall? Okay, he became the GOAT, right? Like you had a guy named Bailey Zappi zapping somebody's job for a little bit, right? And then, obviously the Mac Jones investment allowed Mac Jones to come back, but somebody's job almost got zapped. And it looked like somebody's job in Washington just got zapped.
And the quarterback for the Colts almost got zapped. He may be thanking God Jeff Saturday took over the job because Matt Ryan was on the bench.
Man, I agree 100%. I mean, you look around the league, sometimes, name brand, the name, you survive off your name. And that's why when they talked about the collegiate system and how much of a fraud it is, which it is, sometimes you do profit off your name. Okay, people think Zion in the NBA is still an elite player, like top 5. I haven't seen this guy play in mad long. Okay, that's name and likeness right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after the break. Keep it locked. Okay, we are back here on the show, right? That was a little breaky break. I gotta get used to the flow right here. It's time for topic number 2 right now, and we got to move on to the NBA. And I'm glad that I was able to reference the NBA because, as you see at the bottom of the screen, is the Warriors championship window close. And I would love to start this one off because your boy, I actually talked about the Warriors in my take for 99 cents. That's a segment that we do here on the show. And I think when it comes to the Warriors and you talk about everything, last night I looked at that game. Curry put up a 50 piece and they get blown out. That's ridiculous. They get blown out. Like, I know the score, they won by 11, but the game wasn't really, really close like that. Like, it was in reach, but it wasn't close. How? Defense stinks. Okay, the defense is terrible. But we all know that. That's a trendy way to go. We know that. But look at this bench. Let me bring up a stat right here for you on this bench because the bench was horrible. You look at the bench, Jermichael Green. I respect his hustle. He was hustling. But guess what? 1 for 7. Dante DiVincenzo, 2 for 7. Jordan Poole, thanks for the 8 assists. Where the points at? 0. Not there. Your bench got to be better. Okay, your bench has to be better. And we talked about the losses off that bench. I know I referenced it. Okay, yeah, defense is a problem. It's a huge problem. But when you can't get no value off your bench, you have to send my guy James Wiseman to the D League. It's an issue. It's a very big issue. And you know what? I think the Warriors is going to have to mortgage some of that long-term investment for some short-term value, which means they're probably going to have to package James Wiseman, Moses Mooney, Jonathan Kuminga, and possibly get a quality vet, or they might have to revisit those conversations they had amongst each other when they talked about Kevin Durant. Because right now, let's not forget, let's take a trip down memory lane. A couple years ago, they got smoked by the Cavs. Well, they didn't get smoked, but you know, the 3-1 deficit. They pretty much got smoked. They lost 4 straight games. All right. So think about it from that perspective. They lost 4 straight games. Okay. And if Kyrie didn't ask for his trade request and they ran that team back, I'm certain that Cleveland would have beat the Warriors if the Warriors got to the finals that year. That's why they called up Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant went over there. So that's what prolonged the championship window, was getting an all-star, probably the best player at the time in the league on your team that was 73 wins, okay, on the year. That's how you extended the dynasty. Okay, he left, you bought him out, you got some assets, guys got healthier because they wasn't playing deeper to the playoffs. So now you was able to go on that run last year. Now, what is the next move that you're going to make to open up this championship window to answer the question, because it's closed right now? You got to make a move. And this is what I call the Godfather decisions. What else do you package in a potential Kevin Durant deal? You're going to probably have to package Klay Thompson, with all due respect. And the reason why I call it the Godfather decisions is because these choices are not easy to make. But Klay Thompson has been terrible this year. Okay, he hasn't got his rhythm back. And yes, we know that defensively, he may never be the same player again. That's the sad part about it. That two-way star that made him elite. He was one of the best two-way stars in the league. He's not that anymore. You just paid Jordan Poole, so you're not going to package him. You're going to have to get real creative with the market to include him in that deal. So maybe Poole just takes his spot. You might have to go caution in the win if you're the Warriors, and it's a shame. So to answer the question, yes, I do believe the championship window is closed.
Ryan, let me get in here real quick. Lil, I cannot believe the panic in your voice right now over 15 games in the NBA. We are talking about the Golden State Warriors. Let's backtrack just last year when the Boston Celtics were 25-26 in their season, turned it around and got to an NBA Finals. A team that was not playing good defensively, a team that couldn't score. We have to understand, this is a new system for the Warriors. The Warriors are so used to being the number one team in pace in basketball. Now they're facing basically a new system where everybody is running up and down the court at a pace that we have yet to see ever in basketball. There's no more take foul. So guys have to really play defense, fast break. They have to be able to defend the three-point line on a fast break. There's a lot more emotion in this game. The shooters are not shooting well in Golden State. There's no way around that. They're not shooting well. Klay Thompson shooting abysmal. Jordan Poole's not playing well after getting paid. The only guy really playing good on that team is Steph Curry. No one's playing defense, and it's a very different situation. But the reason why the defense is faltering is because there's so many missed shots because they're used to shooting so many threes. Remember, teams before didn't used to run fast breaks on the Golden State Warriors. But if they did, they used to have to take foul. They used to be able to set up a defense. Used to be able to have a difference in the game. Now, if you try to do a take foul, it's a technical foul. They get a free shot, and then you got to set up defense afterwards and possibly miss another opportunity to defend. This team is having problems adjusting to the new rules, adjusting to how the game is being played because everybody's running up and down the court. We're talking about everybody from OKC, the Kings, Utah Jazz. Everybody's running up and down the court against them. But then again, we have to just realize it's not the end of the world. It's 15 games. Klay Thompson could get it going in 10 more games. Jordan Poole could find a rhythm that we have yet to see, or something similar to what we saw at the end of the year last year, once in 10 more games. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen just yet. They're still figuring it out. It's a lot of different moving parts. Remember, we just stated they lost a lot of role players. They lost a lot of vets. So now they have to adjust to James Wiseman being on the lineup, someone that hasn't played. You have to adjust to Kuminga and Moody getting more minutes. And you have to have Klay Thompson play the way he knows how to play, which is shoot the 3-ball and defend the best player on the opposing team. It's a difficult adjustment, but it's going to be made as the season goes on. There's no more panic. Don't push the panic button just yet. 15 games.
Look,
the Utah Jazz is 10-4 right now. You think they go into the finals? Let's relax.
Look, before Ryan get in here, I would say that team you referenced, the Boston Celtics, they had fresh legs. They was able to go on a run. Jason Tatum, what is he? What? You got 24-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 23-year-olds. The Warriors, Klay Thompson, like 32. I believe Steph Curry's like 3 years younger than LeBron James. Okay, these guys are getting older. Okay, the game is changing. When you look at their defense right now, it's despicable, my guy. I'm about to go East New York in these cats. What's up, man? I'm about to press these cats. 125 points or more. The 6th time this year, they giving up that number. 125 points or more in 15 games. This defense, this Warriors defense over the years, even in their worst of times before this one, wasn't that bad. At worst, they was like 21st in the league. At worst. Okay, they were never this bad. They're terrible defensively this year. That's a problem. Go ahead, Ryan.
For me, I'm not gonna say the dynasty over, but what I would say this, it's definitely not over because Golden State is Golden State. I don't care if it's Jack, Tom, and Jill on the team. They win the championship, it's still Golden State. It don't matter who on the team. It just matters about them winning the championship at the end of the day. So with that being said, the thing with Klay Thompson here is me. It's the gift and the curse, and it's the balance. It's two ways to look at Klay Thompson. Like my guy Good Vibes said earlier, Klay Thompson may be cold, like everybody's saying, yada yada. He may turn it up later in the season, although he might be having the worst worst scoring or bad year so far, probably worst of his year, if I should say. I said it wrong. But like he said, he could turn it up later. This is what I'm doing right now. Because you got, Otto Porter, Gary Payton Jr. is not there anymore. They were crucial on the bench last season. You got young guys coming off the bench that can't do what those guys can do. That affects a lot from both ends of the floor, defensively and offensively. Like guys who can naturally score. Because people keep forgetting, like Otto Porter was a guy who was supposed to be like a franchise player in Washington. But now you move him to, a role player in Golden State, which makes him get like the 3rd matchup or the 4th matchup, the 4th best defender. So if he's on the floor, Steph on the floor, Klay on the floor, Poole, I say Poole, and then you got Otto Porter on the floor at the same time if they have that lineup and a center. He's gonna get one of the weakest links on him. So now you got a guy who was supposedly projected coming out of college to be a franchise player, going to a role player position, getting those easy matchups. He's gone. Gary Payton Jr. probably been around the game all his life. His dad was playing. I mean, I ain't trying to put it on just that, so he's familiar, has experience with the NBA. He's gone. The only thing I can think of, and I'm going to say raw thoughts right now, I'm going to say it right now on the 99 pod, right now as we speak, and I'm going to say it now. And it's what I say. Get it while it's hot. Get it while it's hot.
Look,
KD,
I would say. Go ahead. I thought you was finishing, brother. Go right ahead. The mic is yours.
This the raw thoughts right here. Kevin Durant will be in Golden State before the year is over with. I see them making a lot of trades. Kevin Durant hasn't done anything in Brooklyn. And I feel like Brooklyn is going to do something to get something because they have no draft picks or anything. I feel like KD and them feel like they're not going to win a championship in Brooklyn. I feel like the organization probably like, you know what? I don't need to keep KD here. If we got a chance to make that move, get rid of Jordan Poole, blah, blah. If you put him back there and maybe give up Klay Thompson elsewhere. I know it sounds crazy. But Klay Thompson right now, before he does get into a serious slump the next 2-3 years, he is a hot commodity as a GM. I would trade him while he's hot before his numbers go down. Just saying, prime example. Everybody talked about Westbrook. Westbrook numbers were super high years ago. Westbrook numbers went down. We got with LeBron. He probably could have been easily the trade before he got with LeBron. But what happened? He got with LeBron. Numbers go down. What happens? You can't even find a trading partner for Russell Westbrook. Now, I will say this, and I have been looking at stats, and I don't know the numbers. But from looking at the TV shows and looking at the ESPN Fox Sports shows, it seems like maybe I'm wrong because I don't know all the stats and I might be wrong. So again, raw thoughts will quote me on that. It seems like his numbers have been better by him coming off the bench. I might be wrong. So maybe the change in him coming off the bench has provided a different spark. I don't know. But what I'm saying is Klay Thompson, good player. Teams will really go after Klay Thompson. If you put Klay Thompson on the trade market, teams will run at that now. I'm the GM. Before it gets worse and before situations get into these situations, although I know he's still a 4-time NBA champion, he still has won multiple championships. He's still a hot commodity. You know, eventually they're going to go on to Jordan Poole if Jordan Poole is still there. But if you make that move for KD, Jordan Poole's probably going elsewhere. And then you got a guy like Klay, and you'll figure it out. We don't know the situation of Kyrie, but right now,
I would trade Klay. Honestly, I would trade Klay. I would trade Klay because Klay's older, number one. Number two, it's not like he's playing well right now. He's streaky at this point in his career compared to what he was before. We talking about Klay of 3 years ago before he had that injury. I mean, I know he's been out for the last 2 years. So, yeah, like 3-4 years ago, then that's a different tone.
That's what we're talking about.
Hey, no. But bro, will come in on this. Go ahead.
Nah, it's not even that. Like he was tricky in the finals. It's not like he put together a good 1 to 6 games, right? It was like, game 1 he was not. It was just the Curry show. Then maybe game 2 he'll do something, and then it was like a game 4 where he did something. Even Jordan Poole did something. You know what I'm saying? In a few of those games, right? But it's like, but still, my thing is, I'll keep my fountain of youth in Jordan Poole, elevate him. I would trade Klay Thompson. Okay, maybe because it's gonna be hard to do. Like if you look at the financial aspect of things, it's gonna be hard to do. They just paid Poole. So they're going to have to get creative. The Nets is going to have to get creative because of the money that's going to be going back and forth amongst the trade. So that's why, I would go Klay first. But even then, I would still keep Poole on my team and try to bring in Kevin Durant because when you brought him in via free agency, I know you lost some of that bench, but you was able to overcome a bench that once was the strength of your team, now compromised because you have an elite scorer and y'all was just able to just have the firepower to withstand that. When you look at their bench right now, it's not good. So maybe you do bring in a star like that to replicate what you did when you had him the first time and you won a championship with him.
I just want to say real quick because I want to understand something. Like when Steve Kerr took over the job, who did he develop? Who came to the Steve Kerr system and developed into something different than what we weren't used to? Mark Jackson developed all these guys. Mark Jackson developed
absolutely.
Mark Jackson developed Klay,
absolutely.
Harrison Barnes, even Steph. Even
he's in commentating right now.
So it's like what
Steve Kerr's system.
Who is he developed?
But that's true. Only thing it ain't even about development with Steve Kerr. Like listen to the guys today. He's been a GM before. He's been a commentator, just like Mark Jackson. Now he's a coach. So he's been in all realms of the basketball world, which he's been provided the opportunity. So I get it. I'm not saying he developed anybody, but the thing that separates Steve Kerr from a lot of people don't understand. It may sound crazy. His strategic game plans. His game plans look so much easier. Steve Kerr, Mark Jackson pretty much developed those guys. I agree. But the game plan, you can develop anybody. It's just like a personal trainer. A personal trainer can develop you. But if you ain't got the game plan to go into a basketball game, win basketball games, yeah, you got better with the development. But in the end, owners want to see wins more so than just development, if that makes sense.
I don't know. Mark Jackson is the one that made the elevator doors. That was the one that got Steph Curry open threes. I don't know.
I'm telling you now, I've been looking at this offense for years. And look, now when Mark Jackson was there, Steph and Klay had the ball. Steve Kerr gets the ball. He puts the ball, which is weird, in Draymond's hands. He makes some guys move without the ball easier and better to where they're getting like a lot of easy baskets. Like the person with the ball in Steve Kerr offense is not the person you're going to look for to score unless it's Steph, of course. But whenever Draymond gets the ball, he's really looking to pass. The big men get the ball. They look at the pass. And when they get the ball out, they see the easy. What's going to happen is you got these easy backdoor cuts because Steph, Klay, and Jordan Poole, those guys can shoot the ball lights out, that you got unconventionally wide open dunks under the basket. And then not only that, you got guys coming off the screen like Steph and Klay who they're looking for. Like the offense is a little different. It's more so backdoor scoring. It's more like back end scoring more so as in front end. Mark Jackson front end scoring. Like that. Steve Kerr has back end scoring. Just because I got the ball don't mean I'm the one that's going to really score right now, if that makes sense.
Nah, look, I would say this. We all know Steve Kerr is not the type of individual that I would say, how can I say it? Because he'll have his moments where he shows how much of a player's coach he is. But at the same time, I saw one example where he wasn't scared to make that cutthroat Godfather choice in the finals where he benched Draymond Green, a player that's withstand everything about the Warriors dynasty and was a part of everything, the good and the bad. And he benched him in like a game 3, I think it was game 3 of the finals, where he benched him in the fourth quarter. So I think it'd be a Steve Kerr and Bob Myers. Whatever you have to get better and whatever assets you have to get better, you cannot look at this team right now that hasn't won a road game, that's under 500 in the Western Conference right now and say, okay, we'll figure it out because we are the Warriors. That would be a cocky type of way to look at things because you know what? There's somebody that wants what you have. There's somebody that was watching Ring Night, okay, opening night was like, you know what? I'm tired of being a loser. I want to be a winner just like them, okay? So you have to do what you have to do. You cannot just have this mantra and attitude, oh, we'll figure it out. No, yeah, you got Steph, the best shooter in the world, one of the best players of all time on your team, but he can't do it by himself. Clear, he scored 50 last night. What happened? I don't see no W's in the column. All I see is L's, okay? You might as well smoke him. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back from the break, we ain't going nowhere. This is an imaginary commercial break. I'm getting used to the flow. We got topic number 3. Keep it locked. All right. Topic number 3 on deck. We knocking these joints out, man. I miss my Zoom because, I'll be able to stop the record button and then, have a little sip of the water. But you know what? We are professionals. We are up in our game right now. Let's move on to topic number 3 right now. Staying in the NBA. We talked about my guy, Kevin Durant. Okay. We referenced him a little bit. We might as well talk about his team and the Nets right now. Okay. As you see it at the bottom of your screen, there were some reports that came out yesterday. One report was talking about the Warriors' frustration with Ben Simmons' availability, level of play, etc. Also, Kevin Durant came out and threw his team under the bus, okay, and said that it's not disrespect, but what are you expecting from that group? Okay, he said it all. Now, the question that I present is we all know that there's a lot of parties to go around the blame here. Trust me, we'll be a fool to pick one individual and say, he did it. He was the one teacher. He's the one that made the noise when there was a bunch of people in the classroom making noise. But I reiterate this question right here that you see at the bottom of the screen. Who is the most to blame? Okay, the most, keyword, the most to blame for the Nets' current state of affairs. And Zay, the mic is yours.
Joe Tsai, Billy King, Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni, Amari Stoudemire. Who else was on that coaching staff? That whole front office stunk. They traded all their assets, all their draft picks, every particular thing that get a championship. When every time I tell these people time and time and time again, the role players are the ones who get you to win those games. It gets you there. You need the gritty guys. You need the guy who's gonna throw themselves on the floor, get the loose ball. Someone who's gonna throw elbows, get the rebound. Someone who's gonna get those offensive rebounds. You got rid of Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie for Kyrie, KD, James Harden, and no role players. You got Joe Harris, doesn't play defense. He don't do nothing but shoot the ball and miss. You got Nicholas Claxton. He wasn't ready to be a starter. And guess what? He's there now. You got Seth Curry, a guy who's continually hurt. The guy is martyred by injuries his entire career. Even his college career was martyred by injuries, for crying out loud. This guy is not healthy. This team is horrible. You bring in a guy named Steve Nash as a coach who never coached a day in his life, thinking he's going to bring this team of superstars to the championship. They keep saying it's a Stars League. Stars League. Well, where are the stars at? They're complaining that they don't have enough assets around them. How is it possible that you keep on talking about a Stars League, but your star players are talking about where are my role players? How do you expect us to win basketball games with Edmund Sumner, with Joe Harris, with Nicholas Claxton? Like, KD, get it done. If you would have never left Westbrook hanging like in the first place, you would never be in this place. If you would have never left Steph Curry when you was winning championships, you wouldn't be in this place. You had the best teams already. What are you crying about? Oh, how do you expect us to win with this team? Because you got rid of all the guys. You had Kyrie and James Harden on the same team at one particular point. Couldn't get it done. How dare you come out and sing and cry the way you're doing? It's ridiculous. The amount of superstars he played with, and he's crying. It makes no damn sense to me. This is what KD deserves. He's the one that wanted Steve Nash as a coach. He's the one that wanted to get rid of Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie. What's the other guy I just said? Karis LeVert. He wanted to get rid of all these guys, the draft picks, throw them out because we're going to win championships. Why do we need draft picks? We're going to be drafting last, right? But KD on the team. So this guy cried about everything, and now he's talking about, again, who am I going to play with? You play with everybody already. Who else do you want to play with next? Victor Wembanyama? You got to wait a few years, brother. Like, there's no one else left to play with at this point. He's just going to keep crying and crying and crying. And I said it already. I said it before it even happened. And I said it again. KD will not win another championship in this league because that's the kind of guy he is. He is not a leader. He's not a leader of a team. He's just the best offensive player on a team. That doesn't equate a leader. He cannot lead anybody to the promised land. I said it before and I say it again. It's just sad that we're going to see KD going out like this, a crybaby.
Raw minds. I feel for some of those raw mind thoughts right now. What's going on?
All right, so he dropped some gems in that play. I mean, but I'm gonna go with this, man. It's just like a situation of a child wanting what he wants, and the parent gives him what he wants. And once you keep giving them what they want, but you really want to revert back to like kind of getting control and like start putting your foot down, saying no when it's too late because they get older and older. This is in a short story, the situation of the Brooklyn Nets. Everything that has happened, the owner has given Kyrie and KD whatever they wanted. Just that simple. And it blew up in their face. Now, the owner is going to take backlash. They want a coach. They want a handpicked coach. They want a Steve Nash. He gave him Steve Nash. I'm pretty sure the owner knew that Steve Nash probably wasn't really qualified to coach. But like you said, we live in a star league. Give the stars what they want. So he gave him Steve Nash. That didn't work. They kicked him out. Went and got James Harden. That situation, of course, didn't work. He wanted to trade it. He ended up getting to where he really wanted to go in Philly with the GM and them. And I think, I guess he feels probably at peace more. Then you have Kyrie in the situations that are going on. That's going on. So now with that part going on alone, it went from Kyrie and KD what they want to now Kyrie has his situation. Now they suspend him. He's doing things. They set him out for the COVID vaccine. Now KD is playing by himself. Now they set him out for the things that have happened recently. Now KD is still playing by himself. So right now it's pretty much, it's not even, I won't even necessarily say it's just KD's fault. I feel like the owner, which is the owner, has the right to make all the shots. Once he owns you, he does and says what he wants. You pretty much live by him. So he did what they said. It just didn't work. Now the owner is going to be in a bad situation. That's why I say the Brooklyn Nets got to make some trades to get some draft picks, because everything that KD and Kyrie wanted, the owner has lost. So if they actually decide to book out, like right now, let's say we want out, we want to be traded. They left this organization in a debt fire. In a debt fire to where, like, if they want to be traded, they don't have nothing else. The owner gave them everything that they possibly wanted. And you're right, good vibes. KD's not a leader, but I wouldn't say he won't win a championship because he get traded and go elsewhere. In life, you have your leaders, you have your workers, and you have your council. Everybody ain't built to be a leader. His job really is just to score. I never knew KD was a leader anyway, even in the OKC. We know him as a scorer. We know Jordan as a scorer. He is just a scorer, man. To me, like, that's what he does. He's not telling you directly, I want to be a leader. He never came out of his mouth saying he want to be a leader. He just want to play basketball and score. That's all he want to do. So if he wants to do that, you as the GM and the owner, you put your foot down, have to put the other pieces around. Okay, we need a leader. Okay, we need a role player. Okay, we need a counsel. We know KD just want to score. We just know KD just want to play basketball. Okay, that's all he going to do. He ain't a leader. So now you have to figure ways to put pieces around him to make it work. That's why I said, like, even if they won't out right now, this organization is really in a dumpster fire because KD and Kyrie wanted what they wanted. Every move that team has literally made was not a move that the owner and the GM wanted to make. It was a move because Kyrie Irving and KD wanted to make the move. Trust me, I'm pretty sure this organization would have made better moves, but to keep people in the stands, to sell tickets. They know these guys, win or lose, championships or not, they're going to sell tickets. They're going to make a lot of money with those fans in the stands. It may not be a successful recipe to get victories, but now with Kyrie Irving out and you just got KD here, the only way for this team or this owner to get his debt free, get himself debt free, is he going to have to find a way to trade KD and get some value back, get some pieces back. I'm pretty sure at the end of the season, they probably not even going to bring back Kyrie. So I feel like this season's already a wash. So just go ahead and get rid of the team, rebuild, find some youth, Hopefully this youth can build on something, maybe get some draft picks back. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but if there's a guide for the owner of the Brooklyn Nets and the situation they got going on, the only thing I can do is pray and hope they can move on from these guys and get some pieces back. That's gonna make sense because they keep these guys in longer. These guys ain't gonna have no draft picks. They ain't gonna have nothing. The Brooklyn Nets just gonna be a team playing. They have no value, no draft picks, no trades. Man, it is a wrap. The only thing they can do is raw thoughts is figure it out how they gonna get these guys away and recoup some of the debt they got out there.
I mean, look, okay. There's a lot to say. And before I introduce, my guy Coach who just came on the show, I want to do the honors real quickly here, right? There's a lot to digest. This is a very, very broad topic, right? Now, I guess to answer the question outright before I drift away from the question a little bit, just to cover every angle from this, I would say that you have to blame the front office the most. That's Josiah, that's Sean Marks. Those guys you have to blame the most. But as I, give everybody their fair shares of blame here, I want to start off with Ben Simmons first, just because I just want to come from that unique angle. Now, I think the Nets have a problem here. Okay. I think, when you look at that report about the frustrations with Ben Simmons, I really felt since they made that deal that they've been looking at Ben Simmons as the savior. Okay. Which is somebody he's not. Like, if you are looking at Ben Simmons, the man who can't shoot, to be your savior, you have an issue. Okay, you really have an issue. God, it didn't play last year at all to be your savior. Oh, we need him for his defensive paralysis, right? We need him from his defensive paralysis. That's not going to fix your defense overnight. Your defense is not built to literally play defense, okay? So he wasn't going to fix anything about that, okay? Maybe a little nuance, maybe guarding the best player at best, but that's it. You got 4 other guys on the court. Who's guarding those guys? Okay? Anyway, that's one. Number 2, they talked about, oh, we want to get him in the playoff game. Y'all remember that they really want to play Ben Simmons in the middle of a playoff game, game 4 against the Celtics, because they was getting clapped. Okay? They was literally about to take that guy who didn't play at all and throw him in the bright lights when he literally faltered in the bright lights in the first place and throw him out there. He got surgery on his back. Imagine if he played. Mans would have had no back. Mans would have had no back. Okay, the back would have been gone. Okay, they are looking for this guy to be a savior. He's not. He's Ben Simmons. He's far from a savior. Okay, anyway, that's that. Now, also, too, right? That's not that. I lied. I got to come back to this particular juncture here because Ben Simmons and James Harden are nice guys, right? I don't want to call nobody out their name. They're nice guys, right? But I think what they did was stupid when they sabotaged their careers for trade requests. Let's go back to memory lane. Y'all remember when James Harden, wanted to leave the Houston Rockets and he showed up like the nutty professor, overweight and all that, right? Guess what happened, y'all? Peep the timeline. He gets his wish, right? He goes to the Nets. Then he has a hamstring injury and all these injuries that are still plaguing him today. Rewind. Before that trade request, Mans was the most durable player in the NBA for the volume he collected and commanded. Okay, but the ball was in his hands. Durable. 82-game schedule. One of the most durable players out there. Soon as he gets on, show up overweight because he want to get traded, injuries upon injuries, and we all know what that has led him and what has led the Nets, okay? Ben Simmons, the same thing. Well, I won't say from a durability standpoint, but he requested a trade. He sabotaged his own career by not playing any basketball. Now he had to get back surgery. Now he's hurting, right? It's a back, it's a shoulder, it's the everything, okay? That's what happens when you act a fool. So we're not going to exempt the player here individually as I go down the line here. They got to get some of that heat too. Kyrie Irving, let's start with him again. Let's pick up with him. Now, I'm torn when it comes to Kyrie Irving because Kyrie Irving has said on interviews, I'm pretty sure y'all don't watch it, that he's just more than a basketball player. Y'all should take him for his word. If he's telling you that, y'all should take him for his word. So when he does anything, you shouldn't be surprised. Oh, does Kyrie love the game? I wonder if he loves the game. He told you in the interviews, if you watch, he's more than a basketball player. He's your local neighborhood Spider-Man. That's who he is. And I appreciate him for it because we needed Spider-Man in this daggone city. Okay, but at the same time, from a basketball standpoint, I understand the frustrations. Okay, but when we go back to this Jewish thing, this Jewish comment, okay, he told y'all, and I quote, "I can't be anti-Semitic if I'm a native Jew." Okay, now whether or not you agree with that or not, if you can come out and you be a male and say I'm a female, you can get away with that because you called yourself a female when we all know you're a male. If you can say that I'm a female, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, you can call yourself that. Okay, I knocked that out the ballpark. Thank you very much. Now, with that being said, on the basketball side, he's not there. And guess what? Kevin Durant is like, yo, what am I working with here? It's not there. Now we get to Kevin Durant, the snake. Okay, the snakes of all snakes, the runner, the track star. I'm convinced he should have went to track because the man is always running from a situation. Okay, anytime the situation is about to blow up, he's out of there like it's Mission Impossible. Mr. Tom Cruise himself. I'ma leave before it blows up. That's what he did. Okay, plenty of times. Are we surprised that he threw his teammates under the bus? He threw Russell Westbrook under the bus. He let Russell Westbrook name to get smeared by the media. Okay, and he ain't say nothing. I don't talk. I don't talk. He ain't say not a daggone word. Just let it rock. And now he throws his teammates under the bus, flat out calling them trash. Ladies and gentlemen, peep the wordplay. Okay, this is a nonchalant trade request. Okay, Kevin Durant knows that the world knows that he's a runner. He's a track star. He's a runner. He's a track star. He's a track star. Okay, so he doesn't want to mess up his brand by requesting a trade after he just rescinded his trade request. So this right here was Kevin Durant saying, I need out. I want out. Now it's time for him to get the hell out. Lil Shadamas on the mic.
Man,
Coach, what's going on, my guy?
Go ahead. But that was crazy because you said KD, and I hope I don't mess up no zodiacs and talk about him about zodiac. That's a definition of a Libra. Keep it very open, very vague. Don't say nothing. Don't do nothing. They let you figure out what it is so they can come back and say, I didn't say that. Literally, because they're very literal. So they're gonna say, I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. But that's what they're saying without saying it. I didn't say that. You said that, Therefore, it keeps them in the middle of everything. Gotcha. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Coach Mello is in the building. Sorry for the unorthodox entrance, but we here. Coach, what's going on? What's your thoughts on this particular topic that you see at the teleprompter at the bottom?
Well, I said first and foremost, what's going on, gentlemen? Happy Thursday. One more day to the weekend. I mean, you guys think about my favorite team, the Brooklyn Nets. To answer that question very directly, I'm going to have to go with Sean Marks, and I'm going to tell you why I say that. Sean Marks knew the type of person Kyrie Irving was before signing him in 2019. Another mistake Sean Marks did by signing his boy Steve Nash, and you know how that went down. Steve Nash resigned a couple weeks ago, right? Even prior to that, when Kyrie flat out say, "Hey, we don't need a head coach to coach this basketball team," that really says a lot. From Sean Marks' end. Also, too, I felt like Sean Marks, exploded the team twice, not once, but twice within a 2-year mark. We gave up a lot for Harden. We got rid of our young core in Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, just for Harden. And you saw that experiment. Harden only stayed in Brooklyn for pretty much 80 games, and he skedaddled. Traded him to Philly, and we pretty much, the only good asset that we got in return is, Steph Curry. I'm not even going to consider Ben. And I'm going to be honest with you. I was a firm believer that I thought Ben would have came in there and, give us something. But Christ, bro, he hasn't given nothing at all. So to blame where the Nets are right now, I'm going to put the full blame on Sean Marks, hands down.
And just think about it real quickly here before I lob this up for any final laps here on this topic. You made the transaction, right? Because James Harden wanted to leave. Okay, you had a choice. You could have kept him and allowed him to leave in free agency and try to go all in for that championship. But that's gambling, right? Okay, cool. You trade him, fine. I understand. Why are we not getting back Tyrese Maxey in that deal? Imagine if they did, they wouldn't be worried about Ben Simmons right now because they would have had a legit starting point guard on their team. Okay, and if anything, he could have been coming off the bench, Ben Simmons. It's crazy. Any last laps here, fellas?
Yeah, I got a last lap. You know, people have been talking about how the Knicks are dysfunctional, how the Knicks are a team of New York the most dysfunctional team in New York. And look at this team, 8-7, without a superstar player on their roster, without a single All Star. Actually, no, that's not All Star. We're Julius a lot, but with one All Star on this New York Knicks team with a coach in Tom Thibodeau, what people call stubborn, and people call he's a dinosaur. We need a more up to date coach, up to date culture. Blame James Dolan, get James Dolan to sell the team. But no one's talking about the Brooklyn Nets. No one's talking about how dysfunctional the Nets are, how they made 2 trades that destroyed their franchises tremendously by trading away all their draft picks, all their draft assets in order to win a championship now, to have a win now mentality. Where has that gotten them? Outside of the Lakers, who has that helped just for any team to just dismantle their entire draft assets and their entire draft capital to win a championship? It doesn't make any sense. If 1 out of 30 teams are doing it, you shouldn't be the one doing it. There's only one team doing it. It just does not make any sense for Brooklyn to do the things that they do. That's why front office needs to be fired completely, because they completely tore down the foundation of what the Brooklyn Nets was, which was a gritty team, which was a team that people wanted to play for, with Kenny Atkinson, with D'Lo, with Rondae Hollis Jefferson, with Jared Allen, and all boys out there. And they dismantled that team completely just to chase a goal. And that's what happens. Fool's gold. And the fool always gets the gold at the end.
I mean, look, to be fair, yeah, we could talk about the Lakers and, talk about them bad because they deserve it. They dysfunctional, but at least they won a championship in the Anthony Davis, LeBron James era. They won one. So, they kind of get off the hook here. They won one. So they can, this could get torn down and they say, well, at least we won one. Nets, you won none. Okay. And I'm not talking about the none that wears the hood over our head. I'm talking about none, zero, nada, donut. Anyway, ladies and gents, as we move on to the final topic on today's show, we knocking them out. We don't even got a break anymore, right? I missed a break, but you know what? It's making me do what I got to do. But like and subscribe to the channel and feel free to comment. This is a live show. I literally botched to announce that we are live. That's what happens when you rock with the real Lil. I botch things, but it is what it is. Now you know, Biggie. If you don't know, now you know. Okay, so definitely like and comment. Yeah, let us know what you feel about all the topics that we are talking about right now. Anyway, with that being said, it's time to move on to the last topic. You know what? Another thing I botched, fellas. I'm stupid. This is why I had to stay after school for the extra tutoring, right? Bro, I'm looking at this daggone teleprompter, and the questions are on the teleprompter on my end. And I'm over here looking on my phone trying to read the questions. Anyway, guess what? This show just got better. Anyway, let's move on to the final topic. Thursday night, there's a game on tonight in Lambeau. The Titans at the Packers. Who wins this game and why? And anybody who want to take this jab first?
I can go right ahead with this. I think, the Packers are going to win this game. For the reason being that that last week, I think, rejuvenated something within this Packers team. I think Aaron Rodgers feels a little more energized. I don't know if it's the pills he's popping or his great play of his receivers that he saw last week. I think he's going to be a little more energized, a little bit more upbeat to win this game against Tennessee, and it'll be a big game at Lambeau if they could win back-to-back games. I think it'll be something that really boosted their momentum, boosted their self-esteem, essentially, and takes the warm seat away from LaFleur. I think LaFleur, I said it before, I said it again, that man is the con artist. Everyone called Mike McCarthy the con artist. You look at Mike LaFleur, this man is, or Matt LaFleur, excuse me. He should be Mike LaFleur the way the Jets are winning, but Matt LaFleur the way he's coaching his team, his quarterback doesn't like it. His quarterback debates him on a week-to-week basis about changing the system, changing the flow of the game to get the receivers open. And, it's a back and forth between quarterback and coach. Where have you seen that before? Oh, yeah, Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. So I think this is an ego versus ego battle that I think this week the Packers are going to feel more locked in, more focused, no more combativeness in the sidelines, no more beating themselves up and essentially taking themselves out the game. They're about to take the Titans out the game. And I think the Packers will win 28-17.
I say, Zay, it's good to agree to disagree, but I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one. I like Tennessee, by 7 tonight. I think Derrick Henry is going to have a monster game, 20 carries for over about 50, two touchdowns, in my opinion. I think that Titans defense, even though that, they have a star in Jeffrey Simons, besides that, they have a bunch of unknown guys that just contribute well into Mike Babel's system, and I think that they're gonna make it hard on Rogers tonight. So I think the Titans going to come out victorious, 27-20.
Yeah, I mean, before Ryan get in here, I would say that I think to pick up where you left off, Coach, because I agree. I'm going Tennessee here. 10 is the only 10 I'm botching everything tonight, y'all. I'm botching everything tonight. But that's why they call me the real Lil, because guess what? I can rebound. Tennessee is the only 10 I see. Okay, and I'm going with Tennessee 20-17. I think what's going to be a pivotal piece for both teams. I think it's going to come down to who runs the football the best, because these are teams that utilize the running game heavily in their offense. I mean, you look last week with the Packers. I mean, AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones, it was a heavy dose of that. Last week they ran the ball on 62% of their plays. 52% of their passing plays came from play action. Okay, so obviously you can't pass the play action. You got to run the play action. So the running game, it hinges. Everything, the success in Matt LaFleur's offense hinges on the running game. And if you can run the ball well to come off of that play action and spread you out there, I think when you look at the Tennessee Titans, it's the same thing. They ran the ball on 52% of their plays, not last week, the whole entire season. The third most often in the league. We all know you're going to get a heavy dose of Derrick Henry. They have a matchup that they can exploit. I think the Packers D-line is a little bit suspect. That was proven dividends last week when they was giving up 4.6 yards per attempt with Tony Pollard by himself. So they have given up 1,406 yards on the season, the fifth most in the league. The Packers D-line I'm talking about here against the rush. So I think it's going to come down to whoever rushes the football the best, and I think that would be Tennessee tonight. I like the Titans to win this game 20-17.
Yeah, I got the Titans, but I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay has an upset. But the Titans are number 2 against the run in the league. Number two. So I expect Derrick Henry to have a better game on the ground, more so than the Green Bay Packers. But if the Green Bay Packers have some type of life, experience matters. I don't care how many games they lost. But if they are in this game and A-Rod has the ball, I don't care how bad he played all year, it's a moment-to-moment lead. All you need is one moment, one shot, like Eminem said, and things can change. With that being said, I got Tennessee and Nashville, Music City. They're going to be playing the country music after the game.
Absolutely.
I want to say something real quick. I think, Coach, I understand you said the Titans, but I think an assistant coach talking about the Green Bay Packers winning this game. Give me Aaron Rodgers getting 3 touchdowns this game. He's going to light up Tennessee. I could see it happening, and we're gonna talk about it because I am Zay Shadamas. I'm taking Lil Shadamas' name right now. I'm Mr. Good Vibes. Aaron Rodgers will be in paradise on that field. He's gonna be throwing the ball. He might even do it behind the back pass. What he's gonna do? This man's gonna be electric tonight, and everyone's gonna be like, Aaron Rodgers is back. That bad man is back tonight.
I mean, look, I'm gonna go ahead and get my Lil Shadamas name copyrighted, so this way nobody can steal my name. Okay, Zay, you're gonna have to pay $1,000, okay, to take my name. It is what it is. Let's see if you come up with the money, brother. But look, I would say this, in closing, that it's really nothing about the game. It's in the fantasy land. I didn't start Christian Watson tonight. I just think what he did last week was a little bit fluky. He was in man coverage against the Cowboys, and obviously with that speed and the long arms, you could beat man coverage. And, I got to bench him. I can't start him this week, but if he goes off in my bench, pray for me. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another episode of 99 Pod. And guess what? As always, I'm looking forward to the next one. Fellas, thank y'all for hanging out with me today, taking the time out of y'all busy schedules to be here on the show. It's greatly appreciated. And Ryan Jones, if you want to plug yourself in before you depart, by all means.
Oh yeah, rawmindsports.com, rawmindsports.com, Raw Mind Sports on Instagram, Raw Mind Sports on Facebook, Raw Mind Sports on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all podcast players. Tune in. I have a new episode available maybe tonight. Well, it'll be tonight, and it'll be available on all podcast players.
Absolutely. Make sure y'all tune into that. And fellas, I'm starting with Zay. If you want to give yourself a little shout out here on the show, even though it's your show too, Go right ahead.
Nah, it's good vibes all the time. Good vibes. There's Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out when you want. We can have a nice little debate about where the Knicks are at because we already know 8-7. I have been winning 42 games this year, and that's just where it's gonna be. But this is a great show with a great panel, and it's always gonna be an electric show whenever you tune in. So definitely keep checking it.
I'm trying to leave on a high note, Zay. Don't mess up the mood, brother. Talking about these Knickerbockers. Coach, if you want to do the honors and plug yourself in, by all means.
Yes. This is your boy Coach. You feel me? They call me Mr. Prediction, Mr. Football Guru, Sports Junkie, aka whatever. Just want to say, follow me on Facebook at Cam from Brooklyn. I give all my predictions every Sunday. From the 1 o'clock games onto the nightly games. So check me out. I follow back. Good vibes, like Zay said, good vibes only.
My son said I follow back. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of Hollywood people out there. Ladies and gents, that wraps up another episode. And maybe, just maybe tomorrow, I might run it back. Who knows how I feel tomorrow. But if not, then I'll see y'all on Monday. But who knows? Stay on the lookout. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm out. Peace out.